So I'm going to try something brand new. I'm going to answer some of the questions that have come up on our last few videos. I might try this once a month or so. Let's just see how it goes. But I wanted to bring you along for the questions while I work on something that I've been wanting to work on. My name is Cindy. I'm with Reinvented Delaware, and we love to repurpose and upcycle and all sorts of thrift store makeovers. And this is one of the pieces from one of our previous videos, our thrift and auction, our auction haul. Excuse me, I got that mixed up. And I thought, well, I wanted to paint this and let's just get it done together while I answer some questions. So I've got all my supplies out. I've got my laptop ready with some of the questions, not a lot of them, but some of the questions that were common themes. So we're going to go over that. And just to let you know, I'm using Dixie Belle Caviar today. It's a really nice, deep, rich black. And that's what color I'm going to paint this really gorgeous urn that y'all saw me purchase at an auction. My husband purchased it. And then you saw also that I added it to our front porch makeover. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get to the questions and I'll get to painting. The first question comes from one of our videos, Creative Thrift Store Makeover Ideas. I put it out about a month ago. It really was popular, so most of our questions are going to be about that particular video. This question is from L. Jackson, and it says, "The red bowl was the best mahogany bowl that I've ever seen in a long time. I would never think about painting such a lovely red mahogany bowl, and cleaning and oiling or waxing would have been all that it needed to really bring out the beauty of the natural looking red mahogany." Well, I have to tell you, I got that comment a lot. I had a lot of people say, you should have never painted that bowl. You destroyed it. And then I had a lot of people telling me what they thought the wood was. I had anywhere from mahogany, like this one, and I had somebody say that it was called, what was that? Like a cherry wood, but not the word cherry. That was something different. I didn't get that comment. There were people saying that it was oak. There were people saying that it was walnut, teak wood, exotic wood from Brazil. I mean, just the gamut. We got so many comments on that one particular bowl, and a lot of people were completely opposed to me painting that bowl. Well, at the time when I painted it, and I don't even really feel like I have to explain myself, understand that. Here's my disclaimer. If you like to paint things, paint them. If you don't like to paint things, don't paint them. That's kind of my thought on all of this. I chose to paint that bowl because it was only a few dollars at a thrift store, so I didn't have a lot invested in it. And also because at the time I was selling a lot of our items in our local vendor booth that we've since closed. You heard about that in my garage makeover video. And a lot of the people that were purchasing items from us wanted neutral colored home decor and furniture pieces. So for the most part, that's what I stuck with because that made our customers happy. If you have your own vendor booth and you're selling items, yes, you have to do what you love and what you enjoy and what you're creative at doing, but you also have to bear in mind what the market is looking for. And in our market, most people are looking for neutral colored items so that they can purchase it knowing that it will go in any decor that they have. So we aim to please there, and that's why we decided to paint the bowl. I know that a lot of people were very upset about it. That's kind of my thinking. I'd like to know your thoughts down in the comments and whether or not you watched that video. If you did, let me know what you think of that bowl. And yeah, we'll continue to discuss it. I don't mind discussing that one little bit. Let's take the next question. Let's see here. On the same video, Connie says, "Lady, you are so talented. I'm proud to say that I know a woman, even if it's through YouTube, who is credible and self-sufficient. Thank you for being such a great example a great credit to women." I appreciate that so much, Connie. The encouragement that I'm getting through our YouTube channel has been really quite remarkable. It's just such a fun way to connect with people that I otherwise would have never met. And we can do projects together, kind of like what I'm doing right here. and we can discuss back and forth what preferences are. Like, you might like one thing, I might like another, and I think that that's just so exciting. And also, thank you very much for the kind words about being a credit to women. One of my goals on my blog and also on YouTube, here on YouTube, is to encourage other women, especially in my age group. I'm pushing 60 next year, and I don't feel like the thing is over. Like, it's definitely not over as far as projects are concerned. I love doing projects. I love being creative. I love doing makeovers. I love doing all of that. And I'm thrilled to be able to encourage other women to do the same. And I hope that as you watch me do projects like I'm doing here or out in my workshop using power tools, I hope that you're encouraged and inspired to do projects for yourself. I hope that if you watch me do it, you might think, well, she's doing it, I could do that too. That's kind of my goal. So I really do appreciate those encouraging words. And I have to tell you, since I started YouTube, I mostly just get very encouraging comments. I don't get a lot of negative. I do get some. Everybody is going to get some negative. But I also try to take those to heart and really listen to what the person has to say. Maybe there is room for improvement. Well, actually, there's always room for improvement, isn't there? The next one on the same video is from Swideski. Not sure if I said that right. It says here, first time watcher and I'm hooked. You are so relatable. It's like watching a good friend who's honest with us about not knowing everything, and a little smiley face. Well, that just makes me feel great, because I'm going to tell you, I don't know everything, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. There's still so much in this world to learn, and even if I'm pushing the age of 60, I don't want to be one of those older people that, oh, I know it all, or back in my day, or the way we used to do things was the right way. I don't ever want to be like that. I always want to stay open to new ideas, new ways of doing things. I want to stay open to that. And being here on this community with YouTube has really been just so much fun, learning the way that other people think and learning the way that other people do things. All right, we gotta turn this. There we go. By the way, this was already clean when I did my porch last week. Well, all I'm doing is just getting off some of the dust that has kind of gotten on here just in the last week. That happens on a porch. Just this morning, as a matter of fact, I swept the porch because even though I just cleaned it and cleaned up all that mess from the frogs, you guys saw all that, we had some more stuff to be cleaned up, if you know what I'm saying. Here's another one on that same video. Great upcycles, Cindy. I love the drawer with legs, and I can see that being used in many ways. Loved seeing your fur baby too. He's such a cutie. My fur baby's on a little blanket right over there just around the corner, just relaxing out here, enjoying his time. That comment came from Chalking Up Success. She's one of my blogging and YouTube friends. Her name is Jayne. I'm going to link her channel. She has some really great projects that she shares over on her YouTube, and I just really want you to see them. So I'm going to link her channel down below. But anyway, thanks a lot, Jayne, for that comment about the sewing machine drawer on tall legs. I mean, I don't know what to call this stuff. We're just kind of making it up as we go, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, I have seen those drawers a lot. When I'm out thrifting, when I'm out at an auction, and we do that a lot, you wind up seeing bits and parts and pieces of things and they're not all together. Like the sewing cabinet was completely missing on those drawers, and we have seen lots of those drawers over the years that we've been doing this. So there has to be a way to reuse them. And I just think that they're cute, farmhouse style, little organizational things. And I'm really glad that you enjoyed that project, Jayne. It was a lot of fun to put together. I will say I got some criticism about that one, that the legs on that drawer were too tall. They were about 4 inches tall. I used 4-inch spindles on them. If you have not seen that video about creative thrift store makeovers, please go back a couple videos. I think it's back about 4, and look for that video. It's really a lot of fun, and you'll see the project that I'm talking about. I'll also put a screenshot of the project here as I'm talking about it. But I got some criticism about that because the legs were too tall, they thought, for the purpose of that small drawer. And that could be. I've done different things with those drawers. We've made over lots of them. That one, I just so happened to use tall drawers, or tall legs, excuse me. And I thought it turned out really cute. You know, if you're worried about something like that, use shorter legs. That's certainly fine. Or just use that as a decorative piece and not necessarily a functional piece for organization for something. If you're afraid that it's going to topple over, just don't do that. All right, so it started to rain. I had to rearrange things and zip in really quick and then come back out here and had to get everything in. We're back to painting, and that'll leave me a little note here. If you ever are painting like that and you have to stop, you can mist your paintbrush with a little bit of water. I have this misting bottle. Dixie Belle puts it out. I love this. I use it a lot. And then just put your paintbrush in a Ziploc bag after you've misted it. It'll keep it nice and moist for the next time. That way you don't have to wash out the brush over and over. Anyway, let's get back to, where'd my paint go? There it is. Let's get back to the questions. So the next question comes from our garage workspace makeover, and Deborah, I'm not sure the name, says, your process is inspiring. We know life is just constantly moving, and we can move with it by doing what makes us feel the most content and creative. Now let me get to cleaning and organizing my workspace in the garage. Thanks, Cindy. Well, that's just so much fun to know that we're inspiring you to find your own creative space. That's what that whole video, not the whole thing, but that's what I wanted to bring across, was for you to be inspired to find your own workspace. There we go. Your own workspace so that you can get creative and do some of the projects that you want to do. I have used our garage as my main workspace the entire time that we had a vendor booth business, and it really did suit us well. It really did work out really well. And just recently, I wanted to kind of give it that makeover. You'll see it in the video. We give it a makeover, we paint the walls, and it just really brightened up the space and brightened up the room. And in fact, just recently, I went one step further and really made the space look fun and creative. I'll be sharing that video in the future. Not yet. I'm still working on getting it all finished, but I'll be sharing that video in the future. And I'm so glad that you were inspired to get out to your workshop, to your garage, and create a space for yourself. Let me know down in the comments, do you have your own workspace? Do you have a place that you can go to and just be creative? Whether it's a sewing room, whether it's a craft room, whether it's your garage like what I did, or do you have another space? Maybe it's a spare bedroom. I encourage you to find a space for yourself that you could keep your supplies organized and together, and that you could just go in there and just make all sorts of creative projects for yourself. Or if you have a vendor booth, you need a workspace. So I encourage you to do that. Let's see the next question. Oh, Sarah on that same video says, have you considered shipping? I understand it can be a real hassle, but I have seen several items that I would like, especially that apron that you make. It looks like a wonderful place to craft, and I would be so thankful for that much space, by the way. And I love the rugs, stains and all. Thanks for sharing. So let's back up on that, because she asked about shipping. Are we considering, or would we ever consider shipping? And yes, as a matter of fact, we are considering that. I'm kind of in the works with something. I'm not sure it's going to pan out. We're trying to iron out all the details before we actually jump into it. Shipping would be a really big challenge, especially with a lot of our projects, because they are different sizes, and getting the boxes and all of that. Just, you know, when you purchase something online and you get charged shipping and handling, well, there's a real reason why, because there's quite a bit to the shipping process. It's finding the right box size, finding the label, the way to get the label printed correctly so that your item gets located, delivered to your home in in the right amount of time, and there's a lot to it, and I am considering it, so thanks so much for asking about that. And she also mentions, what did she say here? Oh, she would love to have that amount of workspace. Let me say this, my workspace now is fairly large, and I'm really happy for that. But most of our years of doing this business has been in a very small corner of the garage. You go back and watch some of my other tutorials. I have one in particular on a footstool that I reupholstered, and that really does show the small area that I worked in for years. I worked in a really small area. There's a car. A really small area for years, and we were still able to get a lot of projects knocked out over that span of time. She has one more question. What was that? Oh, she loves the rugs, the stains and all. So there's a funny story about those rugs. So you can go and hear that story over on that garage makeover video if you want to know why on earth I have wool rugs in my garage. The craziest thing. Anyway, I'll let you check out that video for that answer. And then last here on this video, Skylark House says, I don't know how you were able to create tutorials on your blog and on YouTube. Holy moly, at the same time. Let me tell you, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to be able to create the project and photograph it and record a video at the same time. It is a lot of work. I think it's well worth it because y'all seem to be resonating with it. You seem to enjoy the videos and the tutorials that we offer, and that just thrills me. It really does. I'm not a teacher, but I do like to share what I know when I can. I like people to be able to learn. I've had a lot of people over the years ask, how in the world did you do that project? And especially from our vendor booth spot, and it's just a joy to be able to share how to do some of these projects, whether for inspiration or maybe just because you're going to find something similar at a thrift store or an auction or a yard sale and you want to make it over. So you look up the project that we have and then you're inspired to make it up for yourself. So that's been a real joy. It is a lot of work, and it reminds me of a comment that I just checked and saw this morning on, I think it was on the creative makeover idea video, and I don't know if it was a male or female, but the person said basically you need to go get a job because what you're doing, basically they just said go get a job at your local hardware store. It would be worth it. And you know what, here's an interesting thing. This is my job. I'm working at doing this. I am earning an income that helps with our family expenses or whatever we choose to spend that money on. And that's all I'm going to say about that. This is my job. This is what I do. I'm entertaining people. I'm inspiring people. I'm teaching people. And the thing is, people are really benefiting from it and resonating from it and resonating with it and enjoying the content that we're putting out here on video and also over on our blog at reinventeddelaware.com. By the way, I have over 250 tutorials there before I started YouTube. So I've got lots of more projects to share with you over there. Here's another one from the stamped pillow covers for fall. That was a fun project. I used celery. Go check it out. It was a lot of fun. First day of home, her name is Crissy, I know her. She says, I'm loving your stamped pillows, Cindy. Oh my goodness, I have that same iron. It's a Rowenta, by the way, and the Rowenta irons are amazing. And then here, Glue Stick Chick says, I'm very impressed with those celery pillows and how they came out. Great project. You are totally right in saying that when a project ends up with a big mistake, it does accelerate your creativity and figuring out how to solve that problem. I mentioned that in that video. And the thing that I have found over the years is that when you run into a problem with a project, it really, in life, it really forces you to figure that problem out and to come up with a different solution. And in my experience, it is forced creativity, not forced, maybe that's the wrong word. it has spurred on my creativity, because if I have a problem, I've got to figure out the solution. I don't want to just throw it out and start over again. No, I want to take that item. And we are really having a lot of cars today. It's around lunchtime, so I think people are coming and going from lunch, even back here on this country road of ours. Anyway, back to solving problems. When you run into a problem, it really does force you, if you choose, it really does force you to get that problem figured out, and often it stirs more creativity, and that's just good all the way around, isn't it? So yes, I agree with you so much. Glue stick chick. Oh, somebody else said about those pillow covers, they really look more like roses. PP said that. She said, or he said, they really look more like roses, but it's a good idea. They kind of do look like roses. I kind of envision them as being the small blooms on a mum. Excuse me, all grouped together. Anyway, we all have differences of opinions, don't we? And then the last two comments come from the thrift shopping at an auction. My husband and I shared our trip to our local auctions just a few miles from here. And KT says, I saw the word Delaware and I stopped. I'm in Delaware too. Well, welcome. That's so much fun, because Delaware is a teeny tiny state. I always joke that from the top to the bottom of our state is about an hour and a half of driving time. It's really small. We're on the East Coast, we're on the Atlantic. So it's so good to have another fellow Delawarean. And then Triple T Girl says, treasure hunting is so fun, and it's great that you actually use them. The frames are wonderful, but I could not get my eyes off that, but I couldn't get enough of the stitched lady in the small oval frame. And I couldn't either. That little frame, in fact, that project is going to be coming up. I'm preparing now for my next thrift store flip, and that is going to be one of those projects. So make sure that you stay tuned so that you can see what I do with that. It was a needlepoint lady in a frame. It just really, really cool. I mean, I want you to see it so you can go back and watch that video, or stay tuned for the next video. Anyway, it's getting ready to downpour again, so I need to zip this up. I'm going to finish painting this and put it back over here in the corner. Thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you watching our videos, you commenting, you sharing our videos. It really does help me out, and I really do appreciate it. I just want you